Alrighty. Alright, so we're back at it again. We're down a little bit. Sure the chat works, everything is good, hopefully. Let's see. Yeah, nope. Volume is working. Alright, cool. Yeah, so everything is in a broken state right now. Which is how it be. Fixius, you see this shit? Yeah, I saw that, yeah. The ocean rendering. We're gonna have water like that. Oh. Where am I hearing shit from? Okay, there we go. Yeah, it looks great, eh? So much needs to change. Hey! Wait. Damn it. No, I never really had the gun set up for multiplayer in the first place, so I'm not worried about that. Oh. So what I'm working on Fixius is I'm actually, like before, for testing, I was actually putting the weapons into the character. Like, so there would be all 3 sets of weapons already on the characters in general. Right, without the worry about the, which is fine. But anyway, I want to actually make it so we can loot all the items and equip them. So I want to deassociate, you know, the items itself from the player, and make them spawn in on, you know, when the player like loads. And I'm doing that simply because the issue that I have now, now that I'm working on the male and female, is they're 2 different models completely. And the IK system for like left and right hand IK has to be inside the model, so it has to be in the skeleton 3D, which means we have a choice. Set up each of the models. I kept 2 different network characters and have a lot of duplication, and then have like each one with their own unique model, and then, you know, like, yeah, it's kind of rough. Or instead, there's only one network player, and we dynamically, you know, swap the model out itself, so we can just load in any model. But then if we load in any model, you know, to make it editable, you know, we can't just, you know, if I'm kind of making the model editable for the sake of putting the IK system in the skeleton 3D, then I'm either going to have the, you know, have a bunch of duplication or a bunch of nonsense. So I want to rework it. So it sounds like a bunch of shit. I'm glad I'm not doing it yet. So instead, we're going to unify things a bit. We're going to have a, you know, character model, and then we're going to have some assumptions. So there's some assumptions within the model. There's some nodes that I'm creating that are targets, that are just references to where specific equipment spawns. So the IK system is technically now moved to the player, or to the character model. It's just, you know, the armature's in there anyway, and we don't have a choice, so we kind of have to put it in the you know, in the model. That's just, you know, we can't remote transform, like, just, you know, the IK has to be inside Skeleton 3D, so there's no way around it. Um, so what I've done is we've created our character body model, and within that we set up everything. So we set up the whole model, and we put in all the IK left and right. We set up all those nodes, those node references. But so the male and female can be different, right? Like those stances and the nodes and everything different from male and female. Because they run a different set of animations as well. And then ultimately there's just one FPS character, and we just swap out the character model. And in swapping out the character model, we can map, because we'll have those tight coupling references. In the character model, there is all of the references that are publicly exposed, so they kind of just get connected. And then so I should be able to live change my gender as an example from male and female, and it'll just swap out the models live without having to like despawn the character. As everything else is the same. The only thing that's unique is the character, and then the only thing that's within the character that needs to be defined. And then instead, what I'm doing now is, because those left and right hand targets always exist whether the weapon is inside them, the IK targets themselves are mapped to the slot. So we have like equipment slots, and the equipment slots map to a node 3D where we will be spawning and despawning in the item. And then the IK system has everything it needs based on the slot now. I know it's kind of weird because a one-handed slot is always going to be in that form factor. Like, we're just going to have different types of one-handed weapons, but they're always going to be the same. And then the two-handed weapons, there's going to be different types of two-handed weapons, but the IK points are going to be the same. There might be some adjustments. So I've kind of set it up so so that earlier when I was in here playing in multiplayer, I could look around and aim, and all the IK was still working, but there was no item. So the idea, we'd be able to like despawn and spawn the item, in runtime. Like, I want to be able to go over here on the floor, hold F, and like click and drop my weapon on the ground, and then it'll get taken out of my inventory. And then another player can go up and crouch and just kind of grab the item, and it'll get added to their inventory and then get equipped, right? So we should be able to transition a weapon from one character to the other. Is kind of the idea. Decouple the the items themselves, and then for the weapon that's in the hand, like while it is in the hand, it'll have the authority of the player. And technically, when we go to drop it, right, we'll just do a literal despawn of it, while actually having the server telling the server, an RPC, hey, I would like to spawn in my weapon on the ground, and that would be a server authoritative version in the scene tree, that anybody could interact with, right? And if it's something that can be interacted with, and we can pick it up, then it'll be destroyed and added to a player inventory. So we can transition from a player authoritative subcomponent into a scene tree general server authoritative item that's on the ground, to another player owning it. So we can kind of pass the authority around. So I spent the whole day rewriting everything to get back to where I am. But it'll be ultimately much better. So like now when I hit play, there's no items on the player. They actually, so what I have now, just as a example, is on player, any player, so player net as an example, I have broken out the equipment system. So the equipment system itself is now a subscene. So I have the equipment system and all the slots. Now, because in the subscene we can't define the mount point, and we can't define the item that is attached to it, that's fine. But on the equipment now, I have a resource called player equipment resource. And this player equipment resource, if I show it in the file system here, right, This is the default prefab multi-tool, the default prefab pistol, and the default prefab rifle. Ultimately, this will eventually link in to the, to the real, inventory list, and it'll all be fine. We'll just pull from the assets. Hi.
Can't go to sleep.
You want me to tuck you back in again?
No, I'm good. Like, I've been trying for a half hour.
Okay.
Like,
Give me a second.
I just...
Anyway, I put my little guy back to sleep. But anyway, so now it's just going to go through the item slot and depend on what type of item slot it is. So it's a hand slot, a tool slot, a primary slot, secondary. What it's going to do is automatically spawn in default items. So that's just the temporary solution. Right, so spawn in our default equipment, which is just, if we're looking for a tool, and there should be a multi-tool, we're going to go ahead and spawn that in. If we're looking for a primary slot, which is the gun, or the secondary, which is the rifle. So we're ultimately going back to the same place, just alternately, I don't need to spawn in the default equipment. We can have the player go and get the equipment. What? You're back. Bye. Yeah, so the approach now is just to kind of turn off and turn on the mount itself. Thus, the item within it will be toggled in multiplayer. There's always be a mount, just the item itself either exists or doesn't exist. And the state of the mount itself is what gets synchronized over the network, not necessarily what's inside it. That allows me to separate the item itself. And run RPCs to like change the state itself without having to worry about the IK. I quit. Yeah, I don't think we're doing this anymore. So the mount is not null, then we're going to go ahead and toggle visibility depending on if it's equipped or not. Yeah, the terminal has a mount. Secondary has a mount. Primary has a mount. Everything except for unarmed, which is normal. Hopefully YouTube chat's working. Let me double check. Okay, no, item's good. So is this, yeah, why is personal hand terminal not toggling like the rest are? Alright, so there's no errors. And we're turning them on. Unless the terminal is just not visible right now by default. Maybe it's not. No. Yeah, because I think by default they're not visible. Yeah, let's turn off the mount. Fixmus Maximus. Welcome to the YouTube side. Yeah, I don't know why the colliders are not disabling correctly either now. Okay. Better, better, better. Okay. I don't mind the colliders not being disabled. I can fix that later. I just want to get it all working again, because then we can actually get the male and female character in. I'm very excited to get those in because they can replace all the NPCs and give our little universe a little bit more fidelity, as Chris would say. It's gonna be hard. Pushing all these changes live is gonna suck like the other build. So much change. But as soon as this works here in multiplayer, I just need to figure like what happens if someone late joins, and you know, like we gotta make sure that all the equipment has some form of synchronization, because the assumption is all equipment items are already there, so we don't need to worry about it. We're just, you know, synchronizing the item port or the inventory slot that's active, equipment slot. and the IK targets. Oh, stupid NPC. Go away. I need like a disconnect range for the NPC where he'll just kind of leave me alone. All right, what we got? Okay, yeah, looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Oh, we don't have the visibility of the mount. Okay, okay. I know. Yeah. That'll do it. Yep, terminal camera mount. I don't know if hand positions are for. Oh, because they're adjacent IK points. Although wouldn't I was gonna say, wouldn't those IK points be in the child of the camera? Which they are. What are these used for? What is the left hand and right hand used for? What is the point of this? There's a hand and a head? Terminal head mount? I don't think it's used for anything. I'm gonna delete it and see what happens. I don't really think they're used for anything. Because I'm pretty sure the IK drive, like the IK for that is set up underneath itself, so I don't know why. Do. Yeah, no, it's fine. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh. It's used to alert. Oh, okay. It's 2 points to alert between to bring it up to your face and not. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Alright, I would like to undo this change that I just made, please, and thank you. Yeah, so it's personal terminal zoom, no rep. Hmm. So the hand position is the original position. You know, if we know the hand position is going to be the original position, I don't think we need two node references for that. I think. Yeah, we could, because we don't care about, we're not changing the rotation. Yeah, so on zoom, we're creating a tween between the mount head and mount hand. Yeah, we don't care about that. Because we can actually unready. Yeah, so we'll say hand. And then ready. We'll say that the hand position is our regular position of where we are now relative to ourselves. And then for our zoom position, is we'll take our camera position plus. So we'll go to local, the camera position plus a new vector 3, 0, 0, and we'll do like 1 meter, maybe half a meter in front of our face. Right? So just where the camera literally is. So we're bringing it to local. So we'll do global position. Was it plus? No, but we're immediately moving it to local. So now we have 2 local positions. And then we can zoom from this current position to the head position, which is going to be the zoom position. Otherwise, we're going to go back to the hand position. So just to avoid needing to create extra beam objects for no reason, if we're going to be bringing it in front of the camera anyway, probably doesn't matter. As long as we're caching that original hand position. So, nope. Where to go? Back to the origin. It's like a yo-yo. Wee. Okay, maybe we do 2 local camera position. Yeah. So let's bring this to local first, and then add the offset. Yeah, where's it going? Where's it going all the way over there? Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum-bum. Our camera, get world, get camera 3D. I mean, it should go to just a camera position, I understand. And maybe we do need to add those reference nodes. Yeah, why would the camera's position? Or is the camera, maybe the camera hasn't moved to where it should be at that particular period of time. And it's not like we really have access to the player at that point. It's on ready. Yeah, I bet you the camera, on ready the camera hasn't, is still probably in the middle. Hasn't been moved. Bum ba bum 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 bum. Yeah, so maybe. Yeah, because the map itself. Yeah, this is where it should be. Because it's caching the original position correctly, so that's one node we don't need. Hey, Zingers, how's it going? Let's try that again. Okay, yeah, that works. So we can kind of just adjust it. So that's at least just one node reference that we'll need. We can adjust. Well, I like that a little bit better. Good. Yeah, I'm rewriting a bunch of stuff today to get ready for the male-female characters. I finished working on my character creator or customizer. And I realized I needed to you're just in for a quick low. So this is what I'm working on. We have I went and created a skin tone system so I can change our sex, so male or female, and then two different model types. We can change our tone. The body mass will be part of the blend shapes. We can, adjust the head, kind of like dynamically zooms in depending on what part of the controls we have selected. Obviously, this will look great when it's on the real character, not, a gray box test, but. Right, adjust the name. So I want to get this kind of layer in so I can kind of go through the whole process of creating a character, be able to kind of customize things and, make the characters a little bit more unique, change the hairstyles, adjust things, really kind of, push it forward a bit. But it required a lot of reworking of things because even on the multiplayer side, like I needed to determine like which prefab I need to load in for the player, and then there was a whole like, do I want to have one network player and then like a child of that swap out the model, But anyway, the IK system was kind of crazy and requires the, the actual mounts to be. The IK stuff must be a child of the general skeleton, which means I must have IK kind of in the model prefab. So I'm creating kind of a more of a generic, like, player model class that must have all the things assigned to it. So there'll be, I'll make a tool that will kind of like populate all the things that we need within the skeleton 3D. And then it's just a matter of plugging everything in, and then, hopefully then we're good. Because there, because there are differences in the magnets of male and female, and like stances, and like where things will get mounted, and the idea that I can kind of hit play on the IK system, and I'm going to create some temporary targets in the editor, and the kind of on the mount itself. I want to be able to just drag in the item as a child, and then adjust the IK targets, and then apply it to the item, and then in future. We'll be just dynamically loading in, the weapons under the player, as they equip them. It's the player equipment's responsibility to take care of that. So, yeah, been a bit of rework. I was really, really hoping earlier that this would be done, and pushed. But it is what it is. I'm getting there. It's like everything looks exactly the same as it was, even though it's a totally different system. They're no longer actually spawns in with these items already in there. They're actually loaded up by the equipment manager. Yep. And now this. It's a little bit high. Yep, a bit too high. Should not have deleted that. Yeah, let's move this. And Yeah, it's a little bit better. It needs to be turned a little tiny bit more. Yeah, just rotate it and move it a little bit closer to the player. I think everything else is fine. Yeah, so we want a little bit more rotation this way. And bring it on the global side a little bit closer. And we'll just see how this looks once we kind of find this balance again. Because like the other characters are also a lot higher. Oh, yeah, that's better. It still could be rotated a bit, but we're only grabbing position, not necessarily rotation. I guess we could technically warp the transform itself. But I don't really mind the angle, it's kind of cool. Okay, yeah, so now that should be good. So different weapons, this is good. Okay, the IK system is good. I don't know if we were actually synchronizing those. I don't think we are. They're not multiplayer. Alright, so now everything works now in multiplayer and is visible this time. Assuming I added the terminal mount to multiplayer. We should confirm that first. Did I add in the synchronizer the terminal mount visibility? It didn't. Let's do that. We want the terminal camera mount visibility to be synchronized. And now I think we're back to where we started. So get everything working in multiplayer again. And then we can move forward. Yeah, just move out of the way here. Alright, so weapon, 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 terminal, terminal zoom. Perfect. I like the weapon. The IK is not set up on the rifle for multiplayer, but at least it's synchronized. It's something. Cool. So now if you go into PlayerNet, right, like the only thing now that's not dynamically spawning in is the camera. What multiplayer framework are you using? The built-in one of Godot, which is kind of built on top of Enet. I think it's built in on top of Enet. You know. It is built on top of. I didn't really do it. Oh, there's extension methods. What? Cool. Ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. There's the zoom. Yeah, I had a repo. Decent output to TCP UDP, blah blah blah. What is our mid-level extraction? What is it based on this class? Is abstract. By default, Godot provides an implementation based on eNet. Okay, it is eNet. Have you messed with the new Unity framework yet? I messed with multiplayer for dots. Net code for entities. But I haven't played with it in a while. I don't know if I'll go back to it. As right now, I want to get this. Can't wait just to get to a point where like I'm able to do a gameplay where like it does a little bit of everything. Like everything's kind of working in its primitive form. I'm gonna stop coding and doing more art. Oh yeah, I am. Let's decide that to the sprint. Is that we can totally do that. We can actually get the vehicles working in multiplayer. That's a good one to add to the backlog. But it's just a copy of the ship's systems, really. Why can't I capitalize G? Yeah, get vehicles working in multiplayer. That'll be kind of fun. Let's put it up here under add male character, non-human space. This is actually done. Alright, create a default mix and model pose for adapting to characters. That's actually done now. We don't have the male animations. What else? So is what we're working on now. This is getting moved down. Follow camera, I don't care about. Yeah, adding new asteroid system. Make player equipment an item spawnable, despawnable on the player prefab. That's what we're doing. That's currently the big thing on the list. Make the player interactor, make player controllable. I wouldn't mind doing the follow camera as well. Switch the model functionality to the player now. Allow dynamic switching to player models without loading, respawn the player. Okay, that's what we're doing. Yeah, this is all now. Yeah, so really we just need to get the player terminal. And then I think we're good. So in resources, there should be a male and female. So in assets, player customization resources. Player customization resources. Okay, gotta roll. Have a great eve. Thanks for popping by, James. Player equipment, NPC player assets. Okay, so here, male and female. Those are the ones we're going to be using. for the models. So model prefail male, model prefail, and then we can keep a different one for the main. Those will be the ones that will be spawning and despawning. So the player asset resource, the player is going to need. So on player net, player is going to need access to that. So player assets. Yeah, so because when we swap out the character model itself, we're going to need to kind of plug in everything. But as long as these are all set, the only thing it should need to do is change the model. Only the model right here should need to be changed. Everything is set up inside the model. With the exception of this camera tracking it. That's the only thing left to do. Is the terminal camera mount in the camera mount. As I didn't really want to have it be a part of the model. Yeah, so what I think I'll do, I think what we'll do is we'll copy it. And then we'll go into the model. And we know that's under the camera mount, so we'll paste it in. And we're just, there we go. Yeah, and then here for the camera terminal mount, what we'll do is we'll add a new. Node or marker 3D. This will be terminal. We'll call it terminal now. Right, so it's exactly the same. Yeah, because I could use a remote transform and put this under the remote transform out of the model, so we just have this reference for the remote transform. But I don't know how well that applies. I could also, you know, have the head bone be outside the model, but referencing the model, but, you know, that's still not gonna... Right, so we can just kind of delete this now. This terminal mount is where that should be. So we'll say mount terminal, keep the same naming convention. Alright, and then we'll adjust this. Yeah, and we'll give this an export code. Cloud equipment notes. Okay. Alright, so these are our equipment mount nodes. I don't know if we need camera point. I don't know what we're using camera point for. And then eventually we need to set up the male and female for this. Right, so is the like the worst part about it is for each of the unique types of models we need to add, we need to kind of add these nodes, for the IK system to use as target references for the IK, but and we need to make sure we have the IK set up, for left and right. But the idea is once it's done though, tool, one-hander, two-hand, and then the mount terminal. That'll be all we'll need to do on the on both in the final project. We'll do the same for the female. Put her back on idle. Yeah, this shoulder mount is wrong, I think. Completely wrong. It's fine. Right, so if everything works well, we should be able to swap between these two pre-set up male and female characters within the same player, and the player should be able to reconfigure themselves at any time. I think I'm not actually seeing the mount terminal. Oh, yes, I am. Hang on. It's here. So what we'll do is we'll spawn in the camera mount system underneath the mount terminal. So under player, yeah, I don't know why it's called terminal mount. Maybe we shouldn't call it that. It'll just be personal terminal item. Yeah, so they're all relative to this node. Yeah, and there was something about the personal terminal. Because it had to be hooked up to the player. Yeah, and technically this should be IK. IK. And left. target. So the IK hand right target. And this is all stuff for the internal. And I need to use that a lot with them until just I'll shorten them up a bit. Yeah, because where is the personal terminal? If it's information from. Unless the UI itself is getting it right from the game manager. Which it could be. Okay, it is, it's fine. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So it's getting it from the game manager and subscribing to the OnGUI update to update itself. Makes, oh yeah, okay, that's easy, easy. And that's still totally fine. Yeah, so it doesn't require anything. It doesn't need any other references in the scene tree. So we just need to really get it spawned in. Terminal camera node. So in player equipment resources. Yeah, let's set up a pack scene for the prefab terminal. This will be the terminal system. And then we'll load in a terminal. So let's build that. And we'll select the personal terminal prefab. Personal terminal prefab. Excellent. And then inner player equipment. Yeah, we're gonna make sure that we're spawning in our terminal. And the item is a personal terminal script. I don't know if we disable colliders on that. Yeah, because we want to also like despawn everything. Uh, Come on, Chitterino. Connect back. I had to get someone to ban them when I get a chance. So despawn default equipment. And we're just going to go ahead and iterate over all of the slots. And just queue free the Okay. So hopefully the terminal comes back. Which we'll do single player first. So we'll make sure in the equipment, the terminal has a mount. Doesn't have an item yet, but it's going to go ahead and spawn in with that item. And technically this might have to be a path instead of like a direct reference. It might have to be like a node path. Because once we swap out the model, we'll need to remap these, which is annoying. Bum, 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 bum. So if there is a model, we're going to despawn. Default. Okay. Oh, we're doing the we're doing it first. Okay. This will go through, remap all the slots to the new model. And then because we've despawned everything, we're going to respawn the default equipment again. This will set up the model from one model to another. Supposedly. Because we won't know from inside, like, if we can set up all these types, but we won't know what the mount is, and we won't know what the item is. And ideally, we'd like to leave these unedited, make it happen dynamically. And then in the character model, we should be able to leave this uneditable, because we shouldn't need any references. The IK system should get these left and rights from the player model. Right, like we should be looking for the model. And if the model exists, we should be, so if, yeah, because we could do, yeah, let's say, okay. I hate the depreciation. Right, so if it's not already defined in the editor, right, so there must be a model, that's where we're getting it all from. Go ahead and map those from the model, and then start them up. Right, that way we don't necessarily need to have these defined, and a lot of this stuff, like, you know, other than the model itself, we can get from the player. And the idea, this is going to be more of a prototype. We should be able to do a change model and give it any random model, and that'll kind of do it. Do 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 do. So we're going to use that gender to do it for the time being. So for our resources, how do we enter? What's our resources? Player name should have them defined. Oop. I'll be right back. I gotta use the washroom. Okay. So the player doesn't have that player setting, speed, no. Alright, so we need to give it player setting. I'll put it under here, still private. The player asset resource is where we have our different models. So this is where we have the male and the female that we can spawn in. So player asset resources. And then on set gender, I'm going to kill the model completely. And what I'm going to do when we start, the very end, I just want to see if it redoes it all. So we go through, set everything up normally, and it's just a test. We're going to do set gender, gender.female, and just see if it swaps out everything correctly. See if it rebuilds the player model. And if everything works. Because the default is a gender like neutral character profile. So we should be a pink person. Nope. Yeah, it should be spawnable. Maybe we had to call defer it. Yeah, so we gotta kind of get things working. Yeah, it doesn't like the model being popped up. Probably more that needs to be done. Oh yeah, because it goes inside the base. Wait. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Model that cube for the yeah. So it's gonna be base. So we're setting up the model. Is the camera gimbal with the Waycast is still gonna be there? Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. All right. So we get the female loaded in. Come on. Despawn. if there's an item. Alright, so it still didn't despawn us. Everything that's happening, I'm ready. We're gonna do setup like A. We can run this manually. Because the model will have changed. Yeah, so on ready, if we get payment, it is a player. Then our model is the player model. So we're gonna attempt to get it from the player here and predefine it. So we'll reset everything up for the new model. Once the new model, we'll reset up the IK, and we'll reset up the model, the equipment. Can't run game free on the character model with the nut fan. So subgender. Yeah. Equipment that despawn default equipment. Mm-hmm. So that is all the animations. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't. Animation player and animation tree, those are going to be on the model anyway. Yeah, we don't need to define this because we'll have it. And we'll readjust the animate function to use the model's animation tree. Oh, maybe, oh yeah. We should load it up first. Don't worry about despawning the equipment. Load up the new model. Put the model to be that model. Reset up the model. Okay, what are we trying to do here? Player IK. I'm gonna reset up the IK. Yeah, we gotta like remap it before we queue the old model. Do that now. As long as the new one exists, becomes the new active model. It gets reset up. Should be fine. Okay, so the camera gimbal, which is in the head. Yeah, so there's definitely things, more things via the remap. Yeah, because the base. Oh yeah, right. I forgot. That player base. Wait, what? Yeah, the base is nothing. Camera gimbal and the camera raycast. There's a camera mount. And where is the camera mount used? This camera point. Needs to be reset. Yeah, so what's happening up here? Ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-bum. Right, if the item is null, I'm just gonna free it. I'm not sure that it was actually called a friend. Alright guys, it is 11. I'm gonna get ready and end it on the socials and go raid someone. I'll keep fixing this up.